Hi, this is Angie, angelascaches.org. Very impromptu recording with a survivor from Lithuania who I don't know and I don't know much about, but I know that when a survivor carries secrets for most of their life, when they get brave enough to disclose, it's kind of urgent. It's like, I need to speak or I might stay quiet. So I just want to salute this lady called Alana and welcome her and let her tell her story. And I've also got Aaron with us just in case, because in case of any translation issues, but you speak English pretty well, don't you, Alana?
I haven't spoken proper English for 10 years, but I'm going to try.
Okay, and if you get stuck, Aaron can help out. So
yeah,
tell us, yeah. I'm just going to let you speak, and then if I have any questions, I'll ask you, but mostly I want you to just speak and let's hear what you've been through. And thank you for your courage in disclosing. It takes a lot of courage.
I know, and I thank you for asking these questions, because I have been a flagpole for these issues in Lithuania, but nobody hears here because you know, aggressive nature kind of lives here, but I don't understand it. I am a mother. I have survived 3 attacks. Thank God, only 3. Thank God, only 3. 2 of them as a grown woman. But we are like, you know, like a meat deal. A woman that works, that walks, attacking. But the first time, that is the very reason why I want to talk. The very first attack happened when I was 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
I still have my little brother. Thank goodness for that. He saved me. But I don't remember how on earth I woke up on my mother's bed naked. I never even went to that room, but I was naked. The door was locked, and that man came to me.
Mother's boyfriend, by the way.
Yeah, mother's boyfriend. He was coming from the door to me, waving his dick. And he said in Lithuanian what it's called. And first of all, I couldn't understand why I'm naked. Second of all, I didn't know why my brother wasn't near, because we're twins. And
like twins, we're like, yeah, like twins.
A year apart. Year, month, and 5 days. But why on earth, how on earth he managed to lock me into that room? If it wasn't for my brother, I would have had way worse scars in my life. The only hero in my life is my brother and our sense of each other.
That's great. Yeah, they say that statistically, people that are abused in childhood have a much better chance of recovery if they have a supportive family member. If they have a family member that believes them and that lets them talk and cry and rage and disclose.
Our mom, I waited 15 years to tell our mom about that.
God. And I also want to ask you, sorry, was there drugging? Because very many memories in early childhood, for instance, if you can't remember, how did I get in this bedroom and how am I naked? Is there a possibility that you were drugged?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay.
I do not remember how I ended up there.
Was it the middle of the night? Was it in the night?
No, it was a midday.
Wow.
It was a midday when
Wow.
our mom was at work.
Okay.
It was a
So
midday.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
You know, up to this day, I can remember a lot of things that happened, even to the detail
Uh-huh.
that happened with, I call it muscle power, just for it to sound better. I was raped twice. That time.
Okay, I want to slow you down a little bit. I want to slow you down a little bit because I don't need you to get graphic, but I don't want you to skip over how traumatic that is for a 5-year-old. It sounds to me as if there was drugging or extreme dissociation induced by some means, but was there any signs before this that your stepfather was dangerous?
No,
was there
there
any
were
fear
no
of him?
signs. No,
How
there
long
were
had he
no
been
signs
living?
at all. But to this day, then I was 5. Now I'm 43. But to this day, after that event, when I dry our clothing, my husbands, I've had 3 husbands, but always my clothing, my children's clothing are drying on the left side, my husband's on the right side, always, always, always.
So it's left you with some little coping mechanisms. Did it happen? It happened once. And how did, for instance, if that happened once and you had no indication that it was coming and you didn't feel able to tell your mother for 10 years?
No, not for 10, for 13 years.
For 13 years, you couldn't tell from 5 years old. Were you threatened not to tell, or do you remember being told you mustn't tell anybody, or this is our secret?
No. When it happened, my mom was at work, and me and my younger brother were left just, for whoever will look after them.
Okay.
But as I am 1 year older, so I kind of feel up till now more responsible.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's terrible. You feel like not only do you feel responsible, but you feel you let your brother down as well. You see, that's a false shame and guilt, and it's very common. Children blame themselves. So did this boyfriend live with your mother, or he just came to visit, or he just babysat?
At first, he babysat, and it happened in his mother's house. I remember the doors, the color, the where that house is up till now.
Yeah, it's called a frozen memory. It's when you have trauma.
38 years later.
Yeah, it's a frozen.
Remember.
Yeah, it's a frozen memory. You remember the smell. You remember the colors. You remember the location.
Yeah.
That's what the brain does.
I remember what the bed looked like.
Yeah,
I remember what the door looked like. I remember what the house looked like.
Was his mother there when this happened?
Yes.
No, she wasn't there then at that particular time.
But she provided you for him a pedophile, didn't she?
It happened in her bed.
Do you think she knew?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh, that's worse.
She knew.
That's terrible. That's terrible, terrible, terrible.
She knew. But she made herself scarce.
Yes.
And she was feeling, I spoke with Alana before. Let me introduce to a little more information.
Okay.
So she used to give Alana and her brother cookies and, all the sweets and all the, how it goes, Angie?
Yeah, it's just people don't so often, sadly, they don't suspect women of being groomers.
Involved, especially grandma woman.
She was his mother, and she was a groomer.
mind you, having said that, look at Ghislaine Maxwell and look at so many. It is more common, but people don't usually talk about that. So the
But
mother.
I do, and I will.
Good, well, good, thank you. And that's why I wanted to slow you down, because I don't want it to just be, I got raped at 5 and then you move on 13 years. We have to just, without being, I don't want to traumatize anybody, but we have to look at, first of all, if you can't just leave your children with any babysitter, hindsight is a great thing,
my
but you can't
goodness,
just.
I never had babysitters because I don't trust anyone. I don't trust even my husband.
Yeah, it's very sad. And the generation I come from, all the children played out. We could play out all day in the holidays, just with a little sandwich for lunch and just come back when the lights come on. So it's, it's a sad world where the children are not safe. But anyway, and the other thing is the boyfriend, and then the fact that his mother was not only aware that he was a pedophile, but she made herself scarce for him to rape a 5-year-old. That's so criminal. That's so.
It's, for me, it's like natural.
Normal,
So
because at 5,
it has become normal,
yeah.
hasn't it?
Wow, wow, wow.
It's normal living, it's what I've learned from when I didn't know why on earth I should be embraced.
Yeah. Many children say that you see, a lot of people also criticize, why did you wait until you were adult to talk about this? And the children say, many surviving children say, I thought it was normal. I thought all children had to go through that. I heard one survivor say, she said, I thought it was just like you have to eat your vegetables. I thought it was just something like that. Something you didn't want to.
In my case, it was
Sorry,
different.
I've got a call. I'm on a Zoom, Tom. I can't. Sorry. Right,
in my case, it was different. I am a survivor of that case because of my brother, who is younger than me by 1 year, 1 month, and 5 days, and he saved me.
Oh.
He saved me just because he was banging on the door.
Wow. Oh, so, okay. So were you raped when you were 5, or it was just about to happen?
It was about 10 seconds away from that.
Okay, good. And your younger brother banged the door.
But
okay.
I just called his name. I just called my brother's name.
Oh, you shouted. Good.
And her brother heard her voice.
Like hell. I screamed like hell.
Okay, good.
And so did he, because we were never separated, ever.
Okay, ever. Good. Now I understand. So you weren't raped.
I screamed like hell. I screamed his name.
Yeah, good.
But that place, that bed, that it was it's not like in English terms, kitchen and bedroom. It was like a little different. It was like old built house, yellow house. The bed where our mom slept. I don't know what happened to our mom in that bed, but I don't wish to learn it.
Okay, so you and your younger brother lived with your mother.
Yeah.
But this assault, it was definitely a sexual assault. There's no doubt about it. It took place in the boyfriend's mother's house.
Boyfriend's mother's house, yeah.
And it's like that boyfriend, but as I said, I spoke with Alana before. She told me that it seems to me that it's sort of been built for that particular.
Okay.
Yes, because it was there was a separate entrance.
Wow. So here's the thing, the good thing, to take the good out of such evil, the fact that you had enough confidence to scream, to shout out for your brother, and the fact that your brother came and also screamed the place down, that probably saved you. If you had been,
my brother saved me,
but not just your brother. Listen, Alana, let me just finish this thought for you. not just your brother, which is great, but you as a 5-year-old had the courage to scream for help. There's many children, they don't. They get so shocked, they go completely paralyzed and completely silent.
You know why I screamed? Because my brother is a year younger than me. I should look after him, not he after me. So I screamed for him because I couldn't understand why on earth he is not around me anywhere in that room. So I screamed and he
Okay.
screamed back.
Okay,
Because
good.
you know what? I am older than my brother, but the whole year. So I am responsible for
At 5,
him.
I know what you're saying because my sister used to babysit myself and 4 of us. But from 8 years old, you're not responsible at 5 years old to mind your 4-year-old brother. That's not your job. That's not your job.
No, it's not my job. It's my love.
Yeah, I understand, but I just want to separate the responsibility from the guilt, because at 5 years old, you can't, it's, you know whose fault it was? It's the adults. It's the boyfriend. It's the boyfriend's mother. It's your mother, a little bit neglectful to leave you in
She
random.
wasn't a little bit neglectful.
Okay, tell
She
me
was
more.
a beating one.
Okay,
as
tell
well.
me more. Tell me more if you feel comfortable to do that.
Comfortable to do what?
To tell me about your mother and how you feel that she didn't protect you.
Bearing in mind that I had to wait 13 years until I am legally an adult
Okay.
to tell my mother that story. She called me a liar, and that was the last time I told that. Until today, I talked to my brother.
Wow. Wow. Okay, thank you. Carry on. I won't interrupt anymore. I just didn't want you to jump too quickly over such a traumatic event. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for listening. You know what? I will start from the good thing in my life. I have 2 daughters and a son who believe in themselves like they are the whole healing world. Kind people. And from that experience that I got from my childhood, I managed to raise people. I do not call them children because they are people in my life. They are the future that I've learned from my past, my painful past, how to raise beautiful people who are and will be the future of this world. And now I will come back to the point when you asked about my mom. Yesterday, it was 9 years exactly to the day that she died of cancer. And for the first year, I was going to, I call it her last address. For the first year, I was going there just to check that she's still there.
You mean to the graveyard? You were going to the graveyard cemetery?
Yes, to her grave.
Okay.
I was going to her grave for the first year every few weeks or so just to check that she's still there, because I was sure, I was absolutely sure that she will kind of raise up somehow and taunt me again. But it didn't happen. She died, and that was it. I wrote a poem for her, which still lays in that very same grave. But you know what? 9 years have passed. I love my mom for good moments that we had. I remember from all of my life, she died when she was 67. From all of my life, I remember 3 good moments. 3 good moments. One of them was when I was going to school. It was 5th year, and I was learning English. When she was going to school, she was learning German, and I was always waiting in the garden. And she came up to me. I don't know why I thought she must have felt lonely or something. She never came to me without beating.
Oh, okay.
But that was different. That was different.
So you are saying that she would normally come to you to beat you up?
To beat me up, yeah. Always.
Why? Why? Why?
You asked and answered, because I was that child, because always asked why. Every single bloody time when I asked why, I was beaten up.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
my
I
God.
was the bravest one.
So you took
My
it.
sister, mine and my brother's sister, older sister, by 8.5 years older than me. My brother is younger than me. She kind of run away.
Told me, Elena, you told me about that time, one time, you know, when yet another time when she was about to beat you up real bad. And we were running around the table in the living room with your brother. I'm running between you and your mother. Can you tell Angie about that?
Yeah. That was the last beating I've got. That was the last beating that I didn't get. Because my brother was so upset that our mom was beating me up so much, yeah, and like always. Anyway, always. And we were running around the table.
Mom chasing
Mom
you.
with a belt. Mom with a belt in her hands. Can I see anyone of you? And I was running, and it was kind of funny because I'm 13.
Okay.
I am not going to let me being beaten up again.
Okay.
And our mom, she was like full figure,
Okay.
a big woman, and it was hard for her to run, but she was running with the belt in her hands anyway. And oh, brother, he said, while we all 3 of us running around the table like Tom and Jerry, and my brother said, aren't you tired of running? I am. And you know what? He turned around, took the belt from our mother's hand, and kind of hit her the way she used to hit me every single bloody day. And you know what he asked? Do you like it?
Wow.
Do you like it? And he kept on beating her. And he said, do you still like it? And she cried.
Yeah.
I never cried. I never cried when she used to beat me. Never. Because I knew in my mind that she just wants to kill me.
Wow.
That's my mom. But you know what? No, my brother was 13 years old. I was almost 14. And I will never forget that. He is beating her with her belt that she wanted to beat me with that belt.
Yeah.
And he's beating her like that. He's crying because he loves mom.
Yeah.
So do I. He's crying.
Yeah.
And at the same time, do you like it? Do you like it?
Wow. Wow. And to fill out the picture a little more, That's great. My last beating was 15. I was 15 before I got brave enough to say, I don't care if you kill me. You know, I was
Uh,
15.
the last beating that I saw before me, it was our sister's. It was her 18th birthday. 18th birthday, and our mother was beating her with
Oh,
a belt.
you see,
And
this the thing about standing up to a bully, because if you stand up to a bully, usually they stop just because they know they've run out of permission.
not
So,
always, not always.
okay,
It was my sister's 18th birthday. I was 12 at the time.
okay.
So the beating came to me.
Yeah.
But
And then, yeah.
our mother never, ever touched our sister after that.
Did she beat your younger brother?
Yes. Yeah, she told me she did actually, I think.
Wow.
Elena,
And
what
did
do you
she?
say, Elena, did she beat your brother?
She did.
I have one more question. Because you told me her boyfriend's mother knew that you were going to be raped if there hadn't been you know, two brave little children. Is it possible that your mother knew something also?
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about
Okay, go
right
ahead.
now.
Go ahead.
I am absolutely sure our mother knew.
Oh, God. Right.
Absolutely sure.
And she was letting it happen, you are saying?
Except for these two children wouldn't comply.
Yeah.
Except, see
Yeah, but
this.
because we were children, nobody would believe us. In those days, people would believe a grown-up person. Children, not ever.
Okay. All right. So do you
That's
want
why
to
I waited 13 years to tell that to my mom.
and tell me if you can, if you feel able, about the other two attacks in your life? Congratulations for raising your children well. Good job. It's not easy for survivors at all. But tell me if you feel able about the other two times. You said you were
Yes,
attacked 3 times in your life. Tell me about the other two.
yes. The second time, I already had a daughter, and when I was raped, the result was pregnancy.
Oh,
Was
my.
it did you tell me, you told me it was mafia guys? Was
There
it?
were
What
Yeah.
age were you?
21.
Okay, and you were you gang raped? Raped by
Two,
more than 2 men? Yeah, that's
two,
gang rape.
two,
Yeah,
Almost.
of them.
Almost.
Two of them.
almost. Okay, tell me about that. If you
One
feel
girl
able.
was, Alana told me before. Okay, let me drop in some details in there. One girl, there were 3 girls that they took. One girl got thrown out the window from a 4th floor.
Oh,
No, not 4th floor. 9th floor in English.
9th floor. So
oh,
basically, she's dead, and police didn't react because it's mafia.
She's not dead. She
okay.
is an
She
invalid.
survived. Oh my
She's
God, she survived.
She has survived the fall, but she cannot walk. She cannot do
Broke the
anything.
spine.
Yeah, broke her spine.
Jesus. Okay, so 3 girls were kidnapped. One was thrown out of.
Including Alana.
Yeah.
So one
The
thrown out the
first
window,
girl
2
who
are
said
left.
no, the first girl who said no, she was thrown out of the window.
Oh.
10th floor in Lithuanian Heights. I had a daughter by that time, and my brother, and I knew I had to live for them. So whatever they were doing to me, I kind of disattached myself from my body.
Yeah, dissociate.
Completely.
Okay, let me just slow you down again. What age were you when you had your first child?
I was almost 20.
19.
At 19.
19, almost 20.
And
2
did you
months after that, 20.
and did you say that that child was also a result of a rape?
No,
Okay, good.
no.
I just want to be
She's a
clear.
result. Alana told me that her first daughter was
The
a
blessing.
product of love,
Okay,
a
good.
pure product of love.
Okay, good, good. It's probably the reason you survived. Okay,
My
good.
first daughter is a blessing.
Okay.
A hard person, a hard child to raise because her character, goodness mine, was hard. But she was my blessing. She's
Okay,
my
got it.
blessing up till now.
That's lovely. That's great. Okay, so then you have your daughter at 20, and then at 21, you get kidnapped with 2 other women by mafia. And the first
One
woman
thrown
is
out of the window.
because she wouldn't comply, and
Yes.
that's enough
Yes,
to
and they
frighten.
threw her out from the
Yeah.
looks of it. Yeah.
Okay, and okay. And so
And the third one?
The hardest moment from this story was when I said, I have a small child
okay,
at home
okay,
and my brother is babysitting that child. If I do not come home,
okay,
the police will find me where I am.
all right.
They let me out, but they kept the third girl. And I come home after all that happened to me. And my brother, where have you been? And I said to my brother, I have no time to explain, but the only reason they let me out because I have to see my child and come back. I have only half an hour. And I came back. My brother was furious. My brother was furious, but there was another girl that was left there just so I would come back.
You wanted to save her.
I went to save her.
Wow. Wow. So they just let you go to go home and see your child and tell your brother everything's fine, I'm busy. And
They
then
actually, Alana told me, you know, there's another detail to it, Alana told me. Them bastards, the mafia men, they called our landline phone.
Yes, I remember.
Alana's landline phone. Yeah, they called and they were asking her brother.
I know where you live.
Yeah, just to check if it's really her home and if it's really a child there and if she's lying.
check if she was telling the truth. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So then yours.
And so her brother asked her,
go
it
back.
was like 2 o'clock in the morning, Alana, was it? Something like that. About 2 o'clock in the morning, was it?
Yes.
I will disclose myself, okay? This is no secret anymore.
It's
I
not.
am Alana's
No,
brother.
do not disclose yourself.
I do not care anymore. I'm a survivor too.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
let's not have a fight.
Disclose yourself.
Alana, I want you to listen to me. The video does not get released for about 24 to 48 hours. If Aaron changes his mind about disclosing, he is
I
the
don't
editor.
want him to disclose himself.
Okay.
I will edit this video. Don't worry about that.
He can edit it if he wants to, but if you found your courage and your voice, you can't take that from him either, Alana.
Now, I will not turn my video on.
No, don't.
But
Okay,
I will
don't,
say
don't.
what I know.
Okay, all right. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
So now this is your disclosure. This is my disclosure for you, Angie, which you were waiting for so long.
Thank you. This is a family disclosure, and I'm grateful to both of you.
So it was me banging at the door, 4 years old, screaming, yelling, Alana, you never locked our door. She was even in either in my room or I was in her room. We were never apart.
Okay.
Never.
We were never apart. We were
Mhm.
like twins.
And that's the story that completes the story, that story.
Okay.
But there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
And then we got raped separately in different occasions, which is crazy. I mean, and it caught me thinking in my life journey, you know, sorry, it's hard to talk without crying, but
I don't cry anymore.
it's really hard.
I just learned to cry.
It's because we came from so poor family.
Mhm.
We are especially targeted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, single mother, and without very good scruples and vulnerable
Oh, she had
children.
no scruples at all.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah, and also she knew that her
Mhm.
boyfriend's mom is delivering her children for her boyfriend to rape,
wow.
and she did bloody nothing.
Okay. All right. So let's finish the story about the gang rape. So the first girl is thrown out of the window and she's paralyzed for life. The second girl is you, Alana, and you managed to use your brain and say, if I don't come
I
home,
have a child. I have to see my child. I have
yeah,
a
and my
brother.
brother will ring the police, or my brother will
Yes.
look for me. But they only gave you half an hour. You go see your child, you tell your brother everything's fine, you get back here, or we're going to do this to the third girl.
Yes, that's how
They
she
managed
did.
to
Yeah,
rape
yeah.
the third girl at that time, but I told her before we were crying, and I told her, whatever they do to you, do not scream. Do not scream. I'm gonna be back. I'm going to come back half an hour. I have half an hour. In half an hour, I will take you out.
And she did.
And I
And
did.
the girl was forever happy. She had 2 children already at home alone with a nanny. Yeah, at that time. And I spoke to this girl as well after the rape happened. And she is forever grateful for Alana saving her life.
So they did rape her before Alana came back.
Yes,
Gang
they
raped.
have half an
Gang
hour.
raped, big time.
And then how did you manage to escape with her, Alana? When you got back after half an hour, what happened?
It's a very simple thing. They got drunk. They fell asleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the best escape story. They got drunk, they fell asleep.
You just got grabbed, Alana, you grabbed your friend and both
Yes.
ran.
Literally, that's where she came
Ran
back for,
with no
to
shoes.
save her friend.
Yeah, because if she didn't save the friend, when they sobered up, they would just start again and again and again.
Yeah,
and again.
gang rape
Yes.
until she's dead.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yes.
I believe that. Wow. And so is this twice that you escaped an actual rape? The second time they didn't rape you, you just got a huge trauma from one girl being thrown out the window and one
No,
girl
that was
being...
5 years old when she was a child.
Yeah, 5 years old, she was a child, but you saved
But
her.
another 2 times she was literally raped.
So you were raped by the mafia guys?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
raped you. Before they let you go home, they raped you.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
All ends and all.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Every single 3 of them.
And then you have to run home and act normal and run
And
back.
by that time, when Alana came, I said, how many? She said, only one. I was nice. I knew how to cleverly get around the situation.
Yeah.
So only
How to
one.
play.
But only now, this is the first time I'm hearing that all 3 raped her.
So your sister was trying to protect you even then.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see the goodness in humanity in the most awful, awful situations, the most horrific circumstances. You can still see the goodness of love and kindness and caring. Like You know, if you left that girl there, she would be dead as well. The first one paralyzed, the third one dead.
Yes.
No, that was
I know.
amazing, amazing thing you did.
I was not being brave. I was being, then I thought, stupid in my own way. But I just wanted to see, my brother saw in my eyes. We have a connection like no others. He saw in my eyes that something is really wrong. And I ran out, and he knew.
Of course.
He knew.
Dear God.
But I couldn't leave that girl behind. I just could not leave that girl behind, bearing in mind that I saw how one girl just flew out of the window.
Her working name was Maya. Maya
Her working name.
was Maya. She was a strip dancer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And this was the girl that was paralyzed,
With two children. With two children. No, the
oh
girl.
no, the girl
with the children
that
Alana
Alana
saved.
rescued. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. I got it. Thank you for sharing that. Now tell me if you can, I don't mean to go fast through this at all. Tell me if you can about the third attack, and then I'll ask you, Aaron, a couple of questions as well. We may need to do a part 2 for this. It's heavy stuff, but I'm so proud when survivors have the courage to disclose for the first time. And I just want to know that you'd be okay afterwards. I want to know that you'll be okay afterwards. This is a big deal. You have each other at least to support each other after all these years, you know? So
We've
can you tell
always
me
had
about
each
the,
other.
yeah, which is, I think, a huge blessing. Tell me about the third attack, if you can, if you're
In
are
London.
you in London?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh my God.
After that attack, I thought there is no safe place in Lithuania, so I went to London.
And that's where you got raped again.
Yes.
If you don't want to talk about that, that's okay.
I can in pieces. I have learned never to walk alone, never to walk in the evening.
Oh,
I have learned a lot.
yeah.
And all those lessons that I've learned from those experiences, I teach those lessons to my children.
Yeah.
Never
How to
go
protect
outside
themselves.
alone. Never walk in the dark. Never. But I am that stupid person that likes to walk.
It's not stupid. Please don't call yourself stupid. First of all, when we were young, it was normal for children to walk and run and go here and go there. You know, it was normal. It was normal. It's never your fault. It's not your stupidity. You know, it should be safe to walk the streets, but it's not. It's
But
not.
it's not, it wasn't, and it will never be.
Yeah, that's very sad.
I teach both of my daughters. One is 23 years old, one is 8 years old, to
Wow.
never, ever walk alone,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. So, what a sad world. What a sad
Because
world.
it's not just me that will have to pick up the pieces of them. It's
any
them
woman,
that will
any
have
woman.
to pick the pieces of themselves.
And it's not just women, as you know, Aaron, it's not just women.
It's not
Oh
just
yes,
women.
I have been raped as well by 2 men, tragically. But I can spill some detail into it if you like.
Please, if that's okay, because Alana's a little bit upset. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Understandably.
So yes, but it's very difficult. It's not easy.
I understand. I understand.
It's not easy. I was 18 years old, and one man was 32, and the other man was 19 and he was a prostitute. No, he was 21, but he was working as prostitute for 3 years in Germany.
Okay.
And he came back to Vilnius and started studying hairdressing. So that's how I met him.
What age were you? What age were you?
I was 18 and I was still a virgin.
Okay.
And so I met this guy who is extra gay, flashy and stuff, you know, after working as a prostitute for 3 years
I
in
am
Germany.
sorry, I wasn't there.
His name is Danis. So I asked him, so I saw this flashy gay guy and I came to him because we were studying hairdressing together.
Okay.
I came to him, look, I'm gay, but I never slept with a guy, you know. He's like, oh well, I will connect you with a guy, okay? If you really want to, you know, sleep with a guy. Or I said, no, I don't really want to sleep with a guy. I just want to know, you know, some other gay guys, like literally.
Okay.
Okay. But in 1998, it was quite a subject, isn't it? Because it was not that open in ex-Soviet Union country.
So you were raped when my first daughter was born?
Yes.
Was this before or after the boy from the children's
After Gabia was born, after Alana's first daughter was born.
Just hold on a second. The time of the abuse from the boy from the children's home, was that before you were 18?
Yes, I was 10 years old when he sexually abused me.
So this is what I'm saying. It's always, well, very often a younger incident is the first trauma. So you were 10 years old was the first incident.
And Alana, because we are so close, because
I was 10, he was 9.
Yes, since I was 9. Okay, I'm exaggerating.
Because I was going to secondary school, but my brother not.
Wow.
I was 9. So basically, the boy was 14, I was 9, but he was growing up in children's home, and he is used to them children being sold to pedophiles, and sexual abuse was normalized to them. And it was normal to him to abuse me.
Wow. So he was brought to your home for Christmas or something?
Yes, because our mom believed that these orphan children, imagine.
These orphan children need to be saved.
They need a family life like Christmas, you know.
Is it possible? Is it possible? I'm only asking. It's either that your mother thinks, oh, let's do a nice thing and have a boy from the children's home for Christmas, or is she trying to find children to pimp out?
No, she wasn't trying to pimp them out.
No, it was a third thing. She wanted for the world to see her a nice person.
Okay, so she wanted to look.
She wanted to be seen as a good person in society.
So she brings a damaged 14-year-old and he rapes her 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And it came to Alana and me. It came to Alana and me the understanding that she cares more about other people's children than she cares about us.
Yeah. So she's making a big show. We get a little orphan for Christmas, and then
Indeed.
and then he rapes you, Aaron, when you're 9.
Yeah, when I was 9 years old. Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't want to skip over that. So after that, you then identify. And I'm not saying the two are connected, although they very often are. After that, later in your teenage years, you identify as gay. Do you think that had any connection to the sexual assault?
I don't think so, because when I was in kindergarten, I was only 4 years old. I had 2 best loves in my life. Like one was the most beautiful girl, and another one was the most beautiful boy. Both are, you know, most beautiful in my eyes. And but I knew.
I know names, but
I know you do. I know you do. It's Gintare and Dantas. Yeah. Yeah, and but because it was 1984, deep Soviet Union bullshit, when you could go for 25 years to prison if you are
For being
caught
gay, okay.
for being gay.
So you
So-
feel like you had to,
So I knew, even as a 4-year-old child in Soviet Union, I knew that I have to have a girl as my love interest to show people that I'm normal.
So you
And,
tried.
Oh, so you
yes.
already had a beard. You already had a beard. Do you know what that
No, he
expression?
didn't have a
4 years
no, no.
old, are you crazy?
No, listen to me. Listen
Yeah,
to
I
me.
know, it's
Wait.
the expression. Yeah.
A beard is an expression for having a cover. So you had a girlfriend as a cover
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
being
a
in love
boyfriend.
with, for being
Yes.
in love.
Yes.
But listen, what is love at
4
4?
years old, baby, at 4 years old.
We have to do a part 2 later. I promised somebody from Australia for 2 weeks to speak to him. I have to do this,
Fine
but
by
we
me.
can do, if you have time, this is a very crucial time to leave things, but I could talk to you both for another hour at least. So I'm suggesting that we connect again, if it's possible, at like 2:30. Is that possible? Or 2
Okay,
I
o'clock?
think it is, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Just
By
take a
the way-
breather. Yeah.
By the way,
Mm.
this voice that is not mine and is not yours, it is the encouragement for me, my power, my life, my strength.
Oh,
Without that voice, I would not be a woman I am today.
praise the Lord. All right, then let's reconnect at 2:30. I have to just do this other interview, and we'll speak at 2:30. God bless you.
Yeah,
and
in
thank you
2
both.
hours, in 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, all right, and look
Okay.
after each other. You're lucky to have each other.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.